I'm Nate.
And I'm Jordan.
And this is
cdstv.
Every day, it's getting closer, going faster than a roller coaster. Love like yours will surely come my way.
Seniors, applying to college and want to talk to the college rep? We have many colleges doing virtual visits right now.
Next week's colleges are Simmons University, University of Chicago, Baylor University, Grand Canyon University, Wartburg College, San Diego State, Nova Southern University, University of Pittsburgh, University of Rochester, and Tulane University.
Sign up for the college visit in your Naviance account so you get emailed the Zoom link. Email your counselor if you have any questions.
Hey Corona, this is your friendly reminder that you need to get your grades up. Reach out to your teacher and find out what you can make up. Make a schedule of what's due and when. The most common reason students are failing right now is missing assignments. Come on, Aztecs, you got this.
You may have seen protests in the news following the death of George Floyd.
Please take a small moment of your time to watch this documentary that cdstv has made about the Black Lives Matter movement.
The first time we are seeing the moments leading up to the arrest of George Floyd.
George Floyd.
George Floyd.
George Floyd.
George Floyd. George Floyd.
May 25th, 2020. A black man by the name of George Floyd is killed by a Minneapolis police officer. The officer, Derek Chauvin, kneels on Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds as he shouts,
"I can breathe!"
The death of George Floyd sparked protests across the country. His last words echoed in their chants, calling for an end to police brutality and systemic racism. Police brutality disproportionately impacts black communities, with African Americans making up just 13% of the U.S. population, yet 28% of police killings in 2020. As protests grew larger, the stories of other African Americans killed by police were brought to light. March 13th, 2020. Breonna Taylor, a 26-year-old EMT, is shot and killed by police while sleeping next to her boyfriend. The officers arrived plainclothed and with a no-knock search warrant. This warrant meant that the officers did not have to announce themselves as law enforcement before entering the apartment. Breonna's boyfriend, scared and armed with a legally owned firearm, shot one bullet in the direction of the officers. They responded by firing 20 rounds, striking and killing Breonna Taylor. Stories like Breonna's served as a beacon to bring even more protesters to the streets, but it didn't end there. According to the New York Times, Black Lives Matter is the largest movement in America's history, with an upwards of 26 million protesters in all 50 U.S. states. For comparison, the civil rights movement of the 1960s drew in just under 1 million protesters. The demonstrations were so monumental that they gathered attention all over the world, in countries like France, Iceland, and the UK. In London, protesters kneeled in silence for 8 minutes and 46 seconds in honor of George Floyd.
That changed the world.
Daddy changed the world.
The protests were not in vain. In just the first 2 weeks of demonstrations following Floyd's death, cities such as Los Angeles, New York, Dallas, and Denver vowed to make reforms to their police departments. In Kentucky, the Justice for Breonna Taylor Act was introduced, prohibiting federal law enforcement from carrying out no-knock warrants. Back in Minneapolis, the officers involved in the death of George Floyd have been taken to trial, where Derek Chauvin's murder charge was increased and the other 3 officers were charged. Protests and petitions also led to reopening Breonna Taylor's case and reinvesting $100 million into communities of color in LA. However, there is still much progress to be made. The fight is not over. Hey Corona, do you have a story that you want cdstv to cover? Maybe you're in a sport that doesn't get enough recognition, or a club you're in is hosting a fundraiser. Or maybe you want to spread the word for an upcoming virtual event. Whatever it is, email Mr. Forbes with your story and it could be featured on the next episode of cdstv.
September is Teen Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and we want you to know that if you're having thoughts of suicide, you are not alone and there is hope.
Please reach out to an adult you trust, such as a teacher, parent, or coach, who can help support you. Our school is partnered with Teen Lifeline, a local hotline answered by teenagers just like you who understand what you're going through.
So if you don't want to talk about it, you can call or text Teen Lifeline at 602-248-8336.
Attention juniors, if you live in Tempe, you are eligible to apply for the Tempe Sister Cities Exchange this year. Our next youth group meeting is September 20th and is open to all high school students. living in Tempe, not just juniors. If you want more information, join our Remind by texting at Tempe SI to 81010 or email Ms. Lobert with any questions.
Now time for some cdstv original content.
I'm Nate Croft, and I'm going to teach you how to skate. This here's my skateboard. I'm going to get on. One of the first tricks we're going to learn on this baby, it's called the ollie. First, you wanna get your feet like this, yeah, and then you wanna apply pressure to the tail. This is the tail, and what you wanna do is kick the tail down like this, which is what gives an ollie its signature pop. So what you wanna do next is then take your other foot and slide it up the top of the board like this. That'll give us enough grip to take us off and into the air on the skateboard. That'll make us cool, yo! Alright, so now we're gonna do the ollie. We're gonna be so cool.
I'm Jordan,
And I'm Nate.
and this was
cdstv.